Now, before you go ahead and comment that hate comment and disregard the entire video, at least give me a chance to get my point across and explain why I feel the way I feel. I personally do not think Mortal Kombat 1 is a bad game. I will never say that it's a bad game because I truly don't believe that. However, whenever we compare these Mortal Kombat games like 9, X, 11, and 1, we tend to only focus on the gameplay portion of the game. And if we're going to compare a game to another game, we have to compare it one-to-one in every aspect. And if you actually compare MK1 to MK11 in every way, MK11 at this point, even at this point in its life that MK1 is at, was already a more inviting and even a more rewarding package. I mean, there's gotta be reasons why MK1 is noticeably declining more than MK11 was at this point, right? There's gotta be reasons for that. It's not just some random coincidence. And maybe you haven't really thought about it because you love Mortal Kombat and you don't really want to see the negative side, but there are a lot of reasons that go into this, and I'm going to go through my opinion on what I think that is. The way I'm going to do this is I'm going to use a point system. I'm going to make a couple of points, and whichever one of these games I feel like wins in that aspect, I'm going to give it a point. And you'll see by the end of this video why I think that objectively MK11 is a superior game to MK1 if you actually stick around and listen to what I have to say. We may as well go ahead and get the elephant in the room out the way. The main reason why MK11 is superior to this game, and one of the main things people complain about, is the monetization. If you actually go back and look, even in MKX, right? In MKX, you could get 3 skins for $4. Right? In MK11, you were able to get skin packs, which were 3 completely new skins for $6, which is an increase, but it's not a substantial one. But you come to MK1, and there are legit skins in this game, like this Dia de Muertos Scorpion is $8. This Sindel skin was $6, and the Liu Kang one was as well, which granted, you can get these skins out of the shrine, they are free. But then you go over to the rotating side. If you do the math, this Melina skin would have been $6. And this Deception Li Mei skin is $10. There are skins in this game that cost $10, which is unheard of because you're essentially paying about double for 1/3 of the content. I mean, the math is not adding up. And before people say, oh man, it's $10 because it's a classic skin from one of the old games, bro, you could buy a classic skin pack in the last 2 games for less than $10, believe it or not. Like, one skin for $10 is unheard of. It's ridiculous. Let's be honest. I'm not going to spend too much time on this point. If you play this game, you already know that the monetization is stupid. I don't have to explain this any further, so we can move on to the next point, and we're going to give MK11 1 point because clearly the monetization is better. The next point I want to talk about is customization, and while customization in a game can be somewhat subjective, I think it is an objective fact that it is superior in MK11. By this point, you already had multiple skins that you could customize in multiple different ways with multiple different colors and glows, whatever you wanted on your characters. And you could customize multiple pieces of them. Like, let's take Scorpion, for example. You could customize his sword, his spear, and his mask, right? Which is crazy. But then in MK1, you can only customize his mask and that's it. I mean, this one's pretty obvious. That's a very serious downgrade, and that's the case for most characters. I mean, come on, man. You can't even customize the masks of the female ninjas. Whatever mask Katana or Melina has on, you just gotta deal with it with that skin, and most of the time it's just a default one. You have to wear a completely different skin to have a different mask with these characters. So if you want it to be maskless Melina with her nasty ass mouth, you can't even do that in this game. Anybody who actually tries to say the customization is better in this game is purely coping. Like, you are purely coping because you hate MK11. Like, your hate for that game is so strong that you are willing to lie and pretend that the customization has improved. It has not. This is a very clear point for MK11. We can move on to the next point. The next point I want to talk about should be a fairly quick one. I think we can all unanimously agree on this one, right? The next point is gameplay, and without a shadow of a doubt, MK11 has the greatest gameplay we've ever had. Imagine. MK1 very clearly has better gameplay than MK11. It's not even close. We can go ahead and just give that point to MK1. I'll still talk about it, but there's really no reason to. Depending on what lens you look at it through, it's actually debatable. Like, if you're a casual who doesn't really play fighting games, MK11 is probably one of the best fighting games you can play because it's so easy and so simple, right? But if you're like a diehard fighting game player, even if you're not even a Mortal Kombat player, I think MK1 would be more attractive to you because there's a lot more freedom. It's more fast paced and everything. Like, we got our breakers back, man. Not a single soul enjoyed Breakaway, let's be completely honest. I think the only thing in MK11 that I actually liked about the gameplay mechanics was the defensive meter. Like, I liked the ability to roll, but the Breakaway was so ass, and the wake ups, I didn't really like them like that. Like, I don't know. I feel like Mortal Kombat needs to keep its breaker, and I like being able to wake up with my armored special moves. I prefer that. MK11 just pales in comparison to MK1. But like I said, if you are a serious casual and you don't play fighting games, MK11 might actually be better. A good example is, like, my girlfriend really wants to get into Mortal Kombat with me, but she cannot play MK1. It is too much shit happening at all times. Even in MKX, I couldn't get her to play it. But MK11, I got her to learn Liu Kang pretty well, and she was winning online matches with Liu Kang. And he was like the most basic bitch character in the game, so it makes sense, right? But in this game, she just has no interest. It's a lot more to learn. It's a lot more to think about. So for somebody like that, MK11 is definitely better. But for us Mortal Kombat players, MK1 is superior in every way. We can move on. I don't think any one opinion can really decide which game wins this point, but I'm going to give it a shot. The next point that I'm going to talk about is the story. And I would say that these stories are kind of equal, really. And I'm not including Aftermath, by the way, because I'm not going to compare the story we have in MK1 to the complete full everything that's in MK11. It's not fair. So I'm comparing the base stories. And I feel like the same amount of stupidity happened in the stories, the same amount of cool moments happened in the story, right? But I will also say that MK11 had a far better ending. The ending to MK1's story, like when you're picking your character and run up the pyramid, is actually really fun. It's really exhilarating. But that final fight was not a boss fight. What the hell was that? It was terrible, bro. Like, Shang Tsung was way too easy to beat. And I'm not saying Kronika was like the hardest boss ever, but that ending was way cooler in MK11. So I could say MK11 has a better story, but then again, I just feel like the characters were handled better in MK1. There are characters that are winning in this game that never have won in a Mortal Kombat game, like Reptile especially. He was redeemed. Baraka was redeemed even more in this game. So I think my conclusion is going to be that I'm going to give them both the point. I think it's a tie. I don't think I can pick one that's better than the other. Now, if you add Aftermath, then I guess you could give the point to MK11, but that's not fair. So I'm just going to give them both the point and move on from this. Okay, so this one's a big one. Our next point is gameplay investment. Like, what do you really get out of playing the game, right? That is what I mean by gameplay investment. And I think the greatest thing they did in MK1 is the mastery track for the characters. Like, you can go ahead and see what you're about to unlock, but the thing is, it does get a little bit samey because it's the same for each character. And you could say, oh well, then that's like a great attribute, right? But you got the same thing just playing MK11. Like, you could just play a character and you just unlock shit for them over and over and over. Like, you could like basically target loot a character the same way you can in this game. And as far as like anything outside of like regular PvP one-on-one online games, I think the Crypt and Towers of Time take a big steaming shit on invasions. And I don't even hate invasions, me personally. I just don't think that the majority of players are gonna care about it. If you're not a Natara player, a Sub-Zero player, or a Scorpion player, you just haven't cared, because the biggest payoff you get at the end of invasions, of spending all that time playing it, is that skin for that character. So if you don't play those characters, or if you don't want to collect everything, like me personally, then you just haven't cared. That's just how it is. So like me, I'm a Li Mei main. So whenever Li Mei is the character for invasions, I'll be a lot more excited. I've got all the skins so far, and a lot of the skins you get from every season, you can use seasonal credits to unlock it. You don't even need to play invasions to do that. I think you get them from online matches. I'm actually not completely sure right now, but if you do, you can completely ignore invasions and still get like the ice skins for this season. You might miss out a couple of them. Like there's a skin for Lee May that I had to open every chest in invasions to find just to get it, but yeah, like I think the gameplay investment actually is better in MK11 because you get the same thing, like you get rewards for playing, but then you also get to run around the crypt and kill spiders with Shao Kahn's hammer and use Kenshi's blindfold to find secrets. There was that whole like character shrine where if you killed a character enough times in the game, you would unlock like special items for that character. Right? There was a lot more going on in MK11 and it just felt more rewarding to actually play that game. So I'm actually going to give this point to MK11 as well. I feel like at this time I've made my point clear and I can probably stop with the list now. You see where I'm coming from. If you look at it 1-to-1, I think MK11 is actually a superior product than MK1 now. In the end of this game's life cycle, that opinion could change. The game has only been out for what, like 4 months? But at this point, I was way more invested in MK11 than I am in this game. And it's truly a shame because I see the potential that this game has, but truly it just does not intrigue me the same way that MK11 did. And another thing that's never talked about is that the online on this game is horrible, man. Like I match up with people and it says that it's like 45 ping. This is just an example. It's never that low. Let's be more realistic. Let's say like 70 ping and we're both wired and it still lags like a motherfucker. Like it'll still spike to like 150 randomly in the match. The online is terrible in this game. And don't get me started playing against somebody on Wi-Fi. It's damn near impossible to even complete the match sometimes. So yeah, the online is also worse. And I guess the Baraka epidemic kind of gave me the same vibe in the start as the online Scorpions did in MK11. And mind you, I'm a Scorpion main at heart. I love Scorpion. He's my favorite Mortal Kombat character. Call me basic, I don't care. He's the reason I play Mortal Kombat. The dude is just cool. But I couldn't even play Scorpion in MK11 because I genuinely didn't like his playstyle. And he's trash in this game. So it's even worse, but that's neither here nor there. In like the first like few months, like before Baraka was nerfed, Baraka genuinely was the only thing I fought. It was just Baraka and Johnny Cage every single game. And now there's more variety. Like I played a couple matches earlier and I played against Agarus for like the second time since I got this game, which is cool. I'm starting to see more characters, but the same thing happened in MK11. It's just, in my opinion, a better experience. Okay, so like all the structure in this video went away and I'm pretty much just ranting and having an open conversation. So I guess I'll close it out here. If you agree with me, let me know in the comments. If you don't, also let me know in the comments. You probably will anyway. But just try to see my point of view, man. Like I'm not saying MK1 is a bad game by any stretch of the imagination. I love Mortal Kombat. It's my favorite fictional franchise in general ever created of all in everything. Like I just love Mortal Kombat, so I'm in no way hating on this game. I want this game to be great, but there are things that need to change, man. And it's not even a terrible game, it's just has issues, and in my opinion was a downgrade from the last game. So that's it for me. If you enjoyed the video or if you made it this far, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and yeah, peace.